And
L. Buckley.
and we are Marriedpreneur strategists.
Yep, and host of Marriedpreneur Life, the podcast. We help mission mighty married entrepreneurs, people who want to get more clarity, generate more income, and above all of that, they want to leave a lasting impact.
Yes, so married entrepreneurs, they come to us to sync high-level systems with laser clear strategy to build out an amazing legacy and to do that purposefully, profitably, and powerfully. And it doesn't matter if you are an indiepreneur, spousalpreneur, or couplepreneur. Today, you want to take a good listen. And if you don't know what those are, let me tell you real quick. So, spousalpreneurs are if your both spouses are working and building the business together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I just jacked all that up. Let me back up. You said,
I'm
so
sorry.
you didn't even correct me.
You're right.
He's like, No, spousalpreneurs is where one spouse is building the business and the other spouse is actually supporting that one spouse who's building the business. And then we have the indiepreneurs where both spouses are building individual businesses. And then we have the couplepreneurs where both spouses are building the business together. So whether you are a spousalpreneur couple, an indiepreneur couple, or a couplepreneur married couple, then this right here is going to be good for you, because today we're going to be diving into wealth roles. We've realized that a lot of the conversations that we've been having with other married entrepreneurs is that it's been around, well, how do we get on the same page? How do we know who does what? How do we grow? How do we start? How do we become profitable? What if we don't have enough time in the day to do all the things that need to be done to build a business? All these questions, right? But the beautiful thing is a very simple, I'll just say simple way to answer those questions is to make sure that you are implementing wealth roles. And when we talk about this, the couples, they're like, what is that? Like, what does that even look like? So this is why today, for a few moments here, we're going to just give some insight on that. But first, real quick, let us know, those of you, if you are indiepreneurs where both of you are building the business, but into two individual businesses, drop an I in the comments for us, okay? And if you are spousalpreneurs where one spouse is building the business while the other spouse is supporting you while you're building that, because you're still building together, right? Building the same legacy, then drop an S in the comments. And if you are a couple where you're building the same business together, then go ahead and drop a C for couplepreneur. We love to know who's in the building. And even for those of you who will be watching the replay as well, too, let us know, because it's going to be good. Oh, I love the kisses. Hey, sis, good to see you.
So wealth roles is so, how do I want to say, noticeable in so many other aspects of our lives. A 9 to 5, you have different people doing different roles, even if they're working on the same project. In athletics, you have people who are playing different roles on teams. In school, in any type of a situation, you can find people playing different roles as a part of a team, as a part of a company, as a part of a department, as a part of a group. But somehow, when it comes to marriedpreneurs, we tend to lose sight of this wealth role happening in the context of us as married entrepreneurs who are building, whether we're couple, indie, or spousalpreneurs. And I just want to say that it is equally as critical, if not more so, as you all are building out a legacy together, that you understand that there are certain roles, wealth roles, that when people are in the right place, doing that which is in alignment with their gifting, and there's free-flowing communication, you guys are able to build your businesses and build out your legacy that much more effectively, that much more peaceably, that much more profitably.
Absolutely. And I do want to acknowledge this. We see you in the comments. You said S and C. Depending on the week, we feel you. We get you. We ourselves are actually couplepreneurs and indiepreneurs. And so that can look a little different depending on what day of the week it is. And this is what we've been doing full time for almost a good 10 years. Yeah. Right. So we get it. We definitely understand that. And I'm so glad you're here, because this will absolutely help you if you don't have wealth roles in place right now. This is going to be a gem for you. And the thing about wealth roles, let's talk about what it is. Many times couples are like, okay, that sounds good and all, but what exactly is it? And so it's not so much about the roles part, right? Because it's one thing to say, okay, you're doing this, okay, that's great. Not so much only about the wealth part either, but it's about bringing that together and what that looks like. What does that look like for your family, for your marriage? And we know that every marriage is so different because each spouse brings different gifts, talents, and abilities to the table, right? But it's really wealth rose in a very succinct way is really a system, a simple system to optimize your time as you're building, and also to, when I say time, like being able to have more time for each other and not spend unnecessary time building when you can be automating things or having other systems set up. So it's really to help you optimize your time as well as optimize your profitability too. So it's about those two together. And just to give you a little context, implementing wealth roles is a part of a larger system that we have, which is called the Marriedpreneur method. And so wealth roles, implementing wealth roles is step number 4 of that 5-step method. And it's critical to have wealth roles in place because what will happen is, like I said, you will be saving time. And if you don't have this in place, what happens is you find yourselves a bit frustrated with maybe your lack of progress, or maybe with each other, or with miscommunicating. I thought you were focusing. Well, can you tell, all these different things, right? And so it's important to have a system in place that is going to optimize what you two individually and collectively do the best. It's what do you do the best, and as far as the different areas within your business that need to be done now, but that will need to be done in the future, being very clear on that. And it's about having a conversation, and we're not talking going into the implementing of it right now, but really so you can be clear on, okay, we need to make sure that we have these wealth roles in place because they're going to save a whole bunch of time, as well as help increase what we're doing as far as the results with I would say less amount of time. So it's really a win-win all the way around. Okay, you about to say something? Okay, next part. So when we're talking about wealth roles, you want to be asking yourselves, what are the things that you want to be focusing on truly? Because oftentimes we get distracted by doing all the things on the outside of the core thing that we're supposed to be focusing on. And so it's important to be very clear on that particular thing, on whatever that looks like for you. And I'll say this too. I mentioned earlier that every family looks different. Every every married couple looks different when we're talking about these wealth roles. And as seasons change, your wealth roles may change as well too.
Yeah, it's really about responding to those seasons without losing cohesion. So when we talk
What?
about being
Come
cohesive,
on, Boris.
we talk about being
So
cohesive,
effortless.
we're talking about maintaining that kind of streamlined, systematic flow and approach to what it is that you guys are working and building out together, so that again, that cohesion is still there. Here's what happens: a lot of times, as seasons change, we get locked into old molds of operating, and then we lose cohesion even if we're doing the same roles. And so what we got to look at is, okay, how does this new season now demand a different aspect of what it is that we both bring to the table? And if we're communicating about that, if we're dialoguing about that, then we're able to get out in front of any frustrations or any impediments that would limit or challenge our ability to be peaceful as well as profitable.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, like piggybacking on that, because sometimes we can get stuck on what went well before, like what was working for us in the previous season, and we fail to be aware and to realize that has shifted, that season has shifted. And then if we go into this new season shift or idea of what and clarity even of what you all are building together, because we believe if one of you is even called to entrepreneurship, that absolutely impacts how you all build your legacy together, because you're building the same legacy. Okay, so the thing about this is to be aware of the different phases that you may be in, or the different phase and season that you may be in your building, and what does that look like right now, and not only what does it look like right now, but really what does it need to look like for where you're going? And that's really the key, because otherwise it can be really it's so subtle to get stuck where you are and just saying, okay, we're just going to keep doing this same routine over here because that worked so well before, without really taking a step back to say, is this going to get us to where we need to go next? Right. And then if not, if so, awesome. But at least you're aware. At least you know. At least you're on the same page. But if not, then okay, what do we need to shift? What do we need to change? What are some skill sets that we need to bring to the table, or what do we already have that we have not yet tapped into ourselves? That's the goal. And as you ask these questions and as you work together, you'll be amazed. And when you're aware of it, you'll be amazed just how powerful a small, simple tweak will change the pace, I would say, and even the clarity as you all are building together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that you all are aware of the wealth rows. We don't want you sitting, as we, there's that saying, like, you're just sitting on gold. You're sitting on gold. And as marriedpreneurs, there is definitely a distinct advantage of working together, whether you're in the same business or not. There's a distinct advantage, but what good is the advantage if you're not aware of the advantage?
Yeah. Speaking of advantage, let me add this one out there about wealth rows. One of the things that's going to happen as you two are working in your wealth rows is going to up your level of quality in the sense of the output. So it's not just how does it change, enhance, and transform how you two work together internally as you're building out your legacy, but even your decision-making quality goes up. Your output, whether it's your product or service and what have you, goes higher because you have two people with distinct but yet complementary gifts working together in that sense of cohesion. So before you go to market, before you make decisions, it has an internal impact that really causes you guys to work together peacefully, but it also has an outworking or an external impact in the sense that you feel more confident about what you guys are bringing to bear in the market, what it is that you're delivering and how you're delivering it, because those wealth rows are a constant rechecking, reiteration of how are things working? How are you? How am I? Us dialoguing about those. How are you in this season, in that role? So on and so forth. And we start to up our level of efficiency, which ultimately ups our level of output. And so I just want to say your quality is also impacted by your wealth roles.
Absolutely. And just to add on to that, the role is not about just because it needs to get done, so I'm just going to do it because, and there's a time and place for that, absolutely. Sure. But when we're talking about wealth roles, it is like the highest level of executing and strategizing within the marriage for the business. Yes. And what it does is it saves your energy from you doing the things that you're truly not gifted at doing, and you're more strategic in what that may look like once again for your marriage, right? Because that's going to look different. Marriage by marriage, it's gonna look totally different, and being okay with that. And I think one of the misconceptions about this is that just like in marriage, we come to into our marriage with our own ideals about what we expect, how it should be, or how we think that our spouse should respond. Just in marriage, just in the relationship, we all do that, and this is why constant communication is important, so we can help shape, have healthy expectations in the marriage. Well, the same thing goes for building the business too. And this is where the wealth roles comes in. Because sometimes, I remember at the time when I would get very frustrated, and because I was frustrated with how you were doing something because it was taking you longer than when I would have done it, then you're getting frustrated with me because I'm becoming impatient. And all that could have been squashed by having clear wealth roles and having this system in place. Right. So being understanding that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. Like, is this the question is this the best use of your time? And then is this the best use of your
my skill
and your skill and your energy? Like all that together going into understanding what wealth roles need to look like for you in your marriage in this season. Is just not the same every season and for every couple. So we want to encourage you all, if you're struggling with feeling like, okay, well, how do we build this momentum out? How do I get enough time to actually work on the core, like the thing that I'm really called to do in business versus all the peripheral items. How do I start building and increasing in revenue and profitability? Like all of that ties into wealth roles as well too. It's really a system. It's absolutely the wealth role system. And today we wanted to make sure, for those of you who don't know about it, that you at least become aware of it, and let us know in the comments if you like. What we can do next week on our Legacy Live is break down how just a simple process on how you can implement your wealth roles. Let us know. Just drop a yes in the comments, and we can look at doing that next week and just sharing. I guess it would be like a part B or part two of how to implement wealth roles, regardless if you're an indiepreneur, spousalpreneur, or couplepreneur. Yes, it will look a little different based on what your marriedpreneur type is, and it will look a little different based on your marriage, and it will look a little different based on your capacity. It will look a little different based on all these things: your gifts, your talents, your skills, and your abilities, your grace, all these things. It's going to look different for you. But as long as you know what it is, and then you all take, like, you work that, like you work what you're called to work, and not be in all the other areas burning yourself out, wearing yourself, and looking out and trying to figure out, well, how come I'm not getting this? How come we're not doing this yet? How come that? Well, start with the wealth roles. It is really a powerful tool. If you all don't have, or would like to have, I would say, like a systems checklist. We do have a free systems checklist. If you haven't gotten it, we actually just had it redone. It's really cute, but it's more important than that. It's really powerful. Drop the word systems in the comments, and we'll send that to you. It's totally free. And we want to give you just some really good and gold value. That's what we're here for. No fluff at all, but real strategies and systems to help you all build out your legacy, and to do that purposefully, powerfully, and profitably. Okay, so drop systems in there, and then we can take it from there. Wait, we see some. Okay, we have. Okay, also for those of you on IG, I see the systems, but I know it's going to delete the comments. So we're gonna. Let me see if I can do a screenshot real quick. Can you do that? Can you do a screenshot? No, he's moving the comments. No, wrong place. The systems, you have to, no, because we want to make sure y'all get it, okay? On Facebook, it is, okay. On Facebook, but if for whatever reason,
we have them all, though, you can check.
It's okay, we can go back up. But for whatever reason, if we missed you, go ahead and drop in the systems in the what is it called? In the replay. We'll get that to you as well too, okay? Let us know if you have any questions with this. So drop systems in the comments if you want the free systems checklist, just to get you going on what you want to be thinking about, even on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, understanding what that looks like as a big overall picture. We are also the creators of the Marriedpreneur operating systems. And it's critical, it's needed to be able to build together and to do it well, without stress and without the overwhelm. That's like the beautiful thing, right? Also, before we hop off of here, we just released the last, I guess it was last week, our first episode for the year of season 3 of the Marriedpreneur Life podcast. If you're not aware of that, there is tons of gold in there too. You can check out the Marriedpreneur Life podcast on your favorite listening platform. The last episode, or the first episode that we just released, was about the notions for the new year, really simple systems to start the year strong, but also end the year strong together, and how to do that throughout the year. So you can check that out. It's really good. It's a really good podcast, and we're really, really proud of it. We're on season 3, so we've been doing this for quite some time. Oh, who was this over here? I'm sorry, I'm just jumping. It just says Facebook user. Let me know your names. I guess we'll see it on the replay too for Facebook. So sometimes the names don't pop up. But anyway, we are rooting for you all. We're praying for you all. So next Tuesday, same time, well, probably come in around noon. We weren't able to do noon today, but noon EST. And then we can go over implementing how, some systems for implementing your wealth roles. I think you all are, I know you're going to really, really enjoy that, because it's gold. I know it changed how we built our business. We've been doing wealth roles. We started out when we were married as
couplepreneurs.
No, we started out as
spousalpreneurs.
And then
we're indie.
And then we went to indiepreneurs.
And we've been indie and couple since.
Yes, now we're indie and couple. Oh, hey fam. I see you all in there. Okay, so All I have to say is the wealth roles, they don't lie. And they work across the board, regardless of your marriedpreneur type and where you are now and where you desire to go. Okay, so we hope to see you next week. Drop systems in the comments. We'll get that to you. We'll send that over to you, and you all have an amazing day. Until next time,
Keep living
purposefully,
powerfully
and profitably
in sync.
All right. Peace out, y'all.